Most people watch their own performance, a game, a work presentation, through the lens of how they felt. If they felt bad, then they think they played bad. The pro difference, pros will actually take that temperature gauge, turn it down first before going over the game, look at it unemotionally, and just take what you need and then move on. You really have to learn how to separate the outcome from the process. Welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you could join me today. In today's video, we're going to talk about analyzing your life and your game like a pro. Before we get into it, don't forget to smash the subscribe button for more goalie therapist content. Other than that, let's get into it. The reason for today's video is I've been doing a lot of talking with clients about this very topic in learning how to analyze your game like a pro. Be a pro about it. All my clients know I say this a lot about learning how to be a pro, and you don't have to be a professional athlete or a CEO to be able to have a pro mentality. And I really encourage a lot of focus towards this, because this can really help in avoiding the roller coaster. And if you go and have a bad game and you learn how to treat it like a pro and analyze yourself properly, then you can actually get something out of it. But so many times when you're younger, the heat meter is so high. And lots of times, I'll give an example of a client, 16, 17 years old in junior or wherever. And they'll text me and they'll be, had an awful game. It was 6-3. And I said, have you gone over the game? And they're like, no, it's just brutal. And then the next session we'll go over the game and it'll be nothing from what I can see, anything how they described it in the text. Because all they see is the loss, how many goals, how it affects your stats, and it's just automatically bad. That score, that result, bad. And it's not that simple. You need to be able to look at your game unemotionally, bring the temperature down, and then you can actually get something out of it. It might just be 1-2 things, and then you can move on and head into practice with a good, fresh mindset of what you're going to work on, and just keep going and improving. Now, I know this isn't easy. I was a kid, and I remember exactly those feelings, and it was very simple in my mind that if I didn't win, I didn't have a good game. I got better at it over time, and I learned, all of it on my own, and it took a lot of trial and error, and I talk about that a lot. So hopefully this video can give you some little tips, a few things that can head you in the right direction of how to go over your game. Now, as I said earlier in the video, and the title of the video, this is how you can analyze your life and all kinds of things. It can be, like I said, a work presentation. It can be anything where you're trying to look at yourself and get something from it and then improve. And it's going to take some work, but I really believe this will help you. The first point I want to bring up, and a tip, if you will, is the 24-hour cool-off period. Now, it's very important, and I know this firsthand. I was never able to go home, especially because in pro, I had 4 kids, and the house was a bit crazy, and I was just fuming if it was not a good game. And if I ever thought about the game, I couldn't pick anything out that was good. And so I would never go over tape. And even if in my own head, I would try not to go over it, because it would just get me hot. Because all I would think about were the bad things. Now, that's part of the equation. You do want to see what you did not well. But if you have had some time to cool off and then go back and look at it more openly, like I said, without the emotion, you're going to be able to get a lot more out of it. And oftentimes, and I've had this happen a ton with clients, you'll see a totally different picture. you'll actually go, you know what, it wasn't that bad. There are things that weren't perfect and things I definitely didn't do well, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Very often that's the case. The next thing I want to do is I want to give you a few tools on how to break it down and go over game tape. And this can be helpful for you in other areas as well, so take notes. I like to have some look at some variables in the video, such as the uncontrollables, like mistakes, team mistakes, breakdowns, bad bounces, and there's different little things that are out of your control. And I'm not saying you want to look at just those things, but as you're watching, you definitely want to go into it and see how you're doing and if you're playing it right. And this is from a goalie standpoint. If you're doing the play right, you're reading it right, and then something quirky happens, you have to recognize that as well, along with your own play. The second thing is the fundamentals. Like I said earlier, I want you to take a look at how you're doing as the play is progressing and just see if you're doing things correctly, how you usually play the game. And you will know if you're being honest with yourself, if you're doing things the way you think you should be doing it. And as it's going, and then as the play progresses, you look at it, and if a mistake happens or whatever, and then the goal goes in, and there's really nothing you would have changed, then you actually just move on. The last thing is the actual goal and the final decision. Was there anything in that last moment that you could have specifically done differently? And this is the part that you want to do without emotion, because some people can take responsibility for everything, and then you go way too far the other way. One way you could make all kinds of excuses so you don't feel bad, and the other way is when you're literally blaming yourself for everything. You want to be kind of right in the middle, right in the pocket, without emotion, and just look at it and say, honestly, was there something that I could have done differently in that final decision of the actual goal? And if there is, mark it down or in your head, whatever you like to do, and you just take that into practice. And if there's 5, 6 goals, there might be 2, 3 things, and then you can work on a couple of those things each day in a positive light, because there's going to be also things, if you're honest with yourself in the video, that you did really well, and then you'll be able to recognize that, so you don't have this massive dip. It's just kind of like, oh, that wasn't so great. I could do that better. I really did that well. And then you kind of just stay level-headed, and you get out of that video meeting without losing your mind and pulling your hair out and feeling like you want to jump off a bridge. The last little tip I got for you is all about words, and words you say to yourself in your mind, your self-talk. It's very important when you're watching and going over your video on how you're speaking to yourself in your head, or to your coach, as if you're watching the video with your goalie coach. It's really important. And one little tip is you can take the I out of a lot of things you say, such as, I was really slow on that play, and just change it to something like, the movement was late. Yeah, that movement was late for sure. When you take that actual action and detach yourself from it a little bit, this is a little bit of the psychology of it all, but it actually is helpful. And I'm not so, I'm not a trained psychologist, but I do know choice of words are huge, and negative things that are spoken directly at yourself have a way bigger effect than just looking at it, almost like from outside the box, looking at yourself like you're a third person, and just watching that video and detaching yourself a little bit from it can be very helpful. I hope this helps give you a little bit of a blueprint on how to look at things a little less emotionally and go over and analyze your game a little more professionally, being a pro about it. I think it'll be very helpful for you if you just use a couple of these little things. I'd love to hear in the comments if there's any other things that say you've been struggling with, because I'll tell you what, this isn't just about hockey. This is life, and it's a better way to handle things that you've failed miserably at, like whether it's a relationship or a job interview, or, geez, I could go on and on and on. There are so many things that come across our desk every day in life that we don't really nail on the head, and we can beat ourselves up over it and feel sorry for ourselves and be a victim, or we can handle things like a pro and, sit back, take that time, a little bit of breathing room, and look at it like I explained, and just really get something out of it and learn from it. I'd love to hear what you guys are struggling with in the comments and ways that you think you're going to handle it. I think it would be really great to see other people's challenges, because knowing we're not alone is very helpful. Community is great. So I'm just right now trying to build the channel. It's really small, but hopefully in time it'll reach more people and you can actually build some strength with some other people. Other than that, man, that's all I got for you today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want more goalie therapy. If you found this helpful, please share it and like it. I really wish you guys all the best. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.